Hey cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. We are back with these seedlings from the Cactus Seed Soil Battle. It has been about 3.5 months since our last update where I did the revised conclusion. And the reason why I'm back today is because we have reached that momentous occasion to take these Astrophytum outside. That's right, our babies are moving out of the house. As you can see from here, we have 2 trays up here of the Astrophytum and then 1 more tray down there of the Astrophytum. The 2 trays up here are of the larger seedlings. So these were the Astrophytum seedlings that we repotted in that 7-hour repotting marathon. And as you can see here, they've been growing pretty well. I mean, still slow. These are cactus, but you can definitely tell that some of these pots are getting fuller. They're starting to touch each other, which is really great. There's a bunch of interesting hybrids in here for sure. So if you remember, in this experiment, there ended up being 2 batches of seedlings. So the first batch are just shy of turning 1.5 years old. The second batch are 10 weeks behind, so they're about 1 year and 3 months and change old. Yes, they are growing up. Isn't that crazy how fast time passes? In that repotting marathon, you'll remember that we repotted all of these seedlings into one of 2 mixes. The Miracle-Gro Seed Starter with Miracle-Gro Perlite and a Unigrow mix cut with pumice and I think red lava rock. The pots here that are kind of interesting are the 6 back here. Because these seedlings in these 6 pots were all started in the Mike's Square Plant Lofo Pro Seed Starter, but they were replanted such that 3 of the pots are in the Miracle-Gro mix and 3 of the pots are in the Unigrow mix. And when you look at these, so these in the back are Miracle-Gro, these 3 up here are Unigrow. There's really not much difference between the 2. Over here are the largest seedlings. And I would say that they've grown, I mean, they're roughly the same size. And I would say same here for these 2. And same here for these 2 as well. So as far as these seedlings go, either of those 2 mixes worked well with, this repotting. So that's kind of interesting. The rest of these were all repotted in one of those 2 mixes. And I would say I'm not noticing a big difference in the seedlings that are potted in one soil mix over the other. So that's good news. It just means that there's many right answers, if you will, in this whole soil question. One pot up here I would like to point out is this one. This was the pot of seedlings that were grown in the loser of the Cactus Seed Soil Battle. These are the seedlings from the Miracle-Gro Cactus Citrus Palm Mix that was straight out of the bag with no amendments. Remember, the numbers were bad and the seedlings were not growing well. Well, these are the remaining seedlings that were repotted into the Miracle-Gro Seed Starter mix instead, and you can see they're doing much better. Even compared to the video that we did that 3.5 months ago, they're looking a lot better than before. So that is good news. Let's go down here to the 3rd tray. This tray contains the seedlings from pretty much all of the Rob Romero mixes. If you remember, we started with the Rob Romero mix that used my native soil, and then we tried using commercial mixes instead. And the results were not that different from each other. These seedlings are doing well, but they've remained kind of slow growing, so it's not like I repotted them and they just caught up to everything else. They didn't. And you can see that here. They're still smaller than the seedlings from the 2 trays above, but they're doing fine. This one's pretty cool with a couple of variegated seedlings. It gives you a rough idea of how they're doing. These were also repotted into one of those 2 soil mixes. I would say this pot has the largest seedlings that came from one of the Rob Romero mixes. Doing fine. Looking good. Over the winter, I had been watering these probably once every 2 to 3 weeks. I was kind of getting lazy, so I was even waiting about 3 weeks between watering for No real good reason, but sometimes I would come and I would just squeeze the plants, and they were really firm. So I was like, okay, they probably don't need that much. So that's what I did. I didn't water them very much, but it kind of makes sense for a winter. But now when we move them outdoors, I might end up treating them just like the other plants. While we're in here, before we move these outside, let me show you the Ariocarpus. These are the Ariocarpus from that same Cactus Seed Soil Battle, and they're doing very poorly. The only pot that's still okay was the one that I started in the Miracle-Gro Seed Starter with Miracle-Gro Perlite. The rest of them, this one still has something in it, but everything else almost looks like they're empty because they practically are. I reached that same point every time I grow Ariocarpus. I can get them germinated, I can get them started, and I can get them growing fairly well for about a year, and then they just start dying off. And this is like probably the third time that this has happened. I haven't cracked the code on growing Ariocarpus from seed, but the thing is that I do get plenty of seeds from my own plant, so I have kind of no excuse but to keep trying. So I'll probably keep trying, but it's kind of probably not the smartest to just keep trying the same thing because it's just going to fail exactly the same way. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to regroup a little bit and figure out if when I try this again, if I'm going to do it differently. I don't know. So not a great update on the Ariocarpus, except to confirm that I still can't grow Ariocarpus from seed. Here we are in the pergola of Cookie's cacti. And right in front of us is the hottest commodity in this nursery, I guess you could say. Empty space. That's right. Prime real estate. So I cleared out some stuff so that we have some space for our 3 trays of Astrophytum. And I'm also planning to move those Ariocarpus, maybe put them into some of the shaded areas on the shelves. So let's go get the Astrophytum out here, move them out to their new home, all grown up. Look at them, situated in their new home under the pergola. It's about to get really, really hot. Let's see how they do. I will come back and do another update. Maybe when I can see some progress, or maybe in another few months, we'll see. Wish them luck this summer. So how did I make this space? Well, there was another tray of my older Astrophytum over here, but I've been repotting them and I moved them outside. So let me show you them. These are some of my almost oldest Astrophytum seedlings. They will be 4 years old in June, so next month. And they were in 3 1/4 inch pots under the pergola, and then I moved them out here. Well, now I want to knock on wood because it all depends on whether the thrashers are going to bother these or not. We'll see. But yeah, I moved them out here and then I repotted them into larger pots, give their roots some more space to grow, see if it makes any difference. But yeah, that's where that space came from, and also rearranging things. I keep running out of space, but the new space also seems to pop up magically. I don't know. Look at these gymnoflowers. How pretty is that? Back here too, I guess they closed for the day, but the Saglionis or Saglioni. Gymnos are awesome. This area is all plants that I'm hoping the thrashers will not bother. Only time will tell. I don't really see many pots with actual live plants in them, so only these 2, so let's take these outside. Let's put them over here. This is the only pot of Ariocarpus seedlings that I have The only seedlings that are still alive out of hundreds of seeds that I have sowed. And some of these also don't look too good. I can't grow these. Good luck, Ariocarpus. All right, y'all. Wish all of these seedlings luck. And we will be back later to check up on them, see how they're doing. I'm planning to do updates on these for quite some time, so Cactus Seed Soil Battle isn't over. Until next time, happy growing, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, now there's empty space indoors. What am I gonna do? I have a little bit of an unfortunate update on Cookie. Starting about a month ago, I noticed that she was losing weight. And I could tell that she wasn't eating as much as she was before. And she was just about due for her lab work redo anyway. So I took her in, and we've confirmed that her kidney failure has progressed. She's now IRIS stage 4, which means that's the last stage before end-stage renal failure. Not gonna lie, there was a fair amount of tears shed this week. Just watching them decline when they're at their kind of the end is so hard. Oh, it's rough, and I'm sort of bracing myself because I can feel the clock ticking, and I don't know how much time we have left with our dear Cookie. We're increasing her fluid, subcutaneous fluids at home in terms of the frequency. So instead of every 3 days, it's every other day, and then we're going to go in another few weeks to recheck her blood work again to see if she's still declining quickly or where she's at. We are working with an internal medicine doctor, and she's pretty good, so we're gonna rely on her expertise to help guide us through this. But I know many of you are furry children parents, and you understand how hard this is. Unfortunately, they just don't live as long as we do, and it's an absolute fact. There's nothing we can do except kind of enjoy our time together. But I have panic attacks on loss, and I can feel that coming on again. Cookie is not my first fur baby. I have lost 2 others in the past. I did not take it well. I don't know. I mean, there's really not much except keep her as comfortable as possible. Anyway, it's a little bit sad of an update, but that is life at the same time. Cookie, I love you.